What's going on, you loyal listeners? Thank you for tuning in to the L Squared Podcast. I'm your host here, Luke Larson, and joining me today, as per the usual, the old man himself with his crumbling, decrepit, I want to say phalanges, but I don't think that's right. We'll just say lower limbs, old legs.
Yes. Unless I'm in the water, then I'm the apex predator. Woo!
And we're here. We're into it.
We're here, and we are here to crawl. We're here to crawl into your earbuds, into your mind. I'm gonna crawl deep inside there, see what's going on with this sick review of what is a pretty interesting movie, and maybe one of my favorite surprises of the summer. So
pretty interesting.
Yeah, we're talking about Crawl. And yeah, we're here.
We're here. You know, we've been talking about it for a while, and we've you know, I gotta say we because we're a team, but you know we've been anticipating it, and this definitely fits into the category that Old Legs especially has a fondness for. Over the last, I don't know what, like 3 years or so, we've gotten about one of these types of movies a summer. And I don't know, how would you describe this genre?
The Blake Lively versus
even though she's been in one of them.
Verse. And except for this movie doesn't have Blake Lively.
Right.
Which I cannot believe. She has, I think, officially usurped the great Jeremy Renner, who I have said on this podcast multiple times that he needs a new agent, and that I am available. But I'm now since Renner seems to be back on his feet. He's flipping houses. He's got I don't know. Is he still Hawkeye? Did Hawkeye die?
He didn't die, but he tried hard in the last movie, but he pulled it out.
They tried to kill him.
They tried, but he wouldn't go down.
God, do you think we could just embarrass him even more by bringing him back? Just have Thanos just smash him with his infinity hammer?
You can do it.
Or no, wait.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close.
Like a gauntlet.
There he is. Hold on, I think we got. I think. Hold on, say that one more time.
Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, the crowd goes wild. Listen to him out there.
Yes.
Oh, they love it. Okay.
So, this is a alligators versus survivors. I really enjoyed this movie. I'm going off on a tangent already with the whole Blake Lively thing, but that's not to say that the lead. I'm just seeing this now. Kaya Scodelario?
Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Again, we put a lot of
so much
time into
prep into this. Absolutely.
Which I'm sure you can tell. She's incredible in this movie, and I'm not taking anything away from her performance. I think it's kind of wild that Blake Lively missed this chance to fight more scary creatures.
Scary water creatures, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll let you do this. Kind of run us down, give us a little synopsis here.
Yeah.
You're better at that than me.
Yeah, that's true. So the kind of IMDb plot synopsis: a young woman, while attempting to save her father during a Category 5 hurricane, finds herself trapped in a flooding house and must fight for her life against alligators. So this girl, we open on her at a competitive swimming practice, and she is distracted and doesn't do as well as she thinks she probably could. And then she gets a call from her sister, who's been trying to get in contact with her, saying, "Hey, are you safe? Are you out of there?" And she says, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "You're in the middle of a hurricane." And she's like, "Oh, it was supposed to pass us." And she's like, "Well, it didn't. They're evacuating everybody. You got to get out of there." "Okay. Oh, have you heard from Dad?" "No, we're kind of mad at each other or whatever." And then she's like, "Well, you should go check on him because I can't get a hold of him. And he, blah, 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 blah." So she says, "All right, I'll go try and find him." And she goes towards the storm, Batman style. Bruce Wayne and Batman v Superman.
Yes.
Terrible movie.
There's a storm coming.
But there's a storm coming, and she gets in her bitchin' Jeep Liberty, and she heads right straight for that thing, and then she eventually does find her father at their old house, and he's in the old basement, and he's been wounded, and he's
hammered.
He's so drunk.
Yeah.
And water's coming in.
Fix the pipe. Let's go down in the cellar.
Which I don't know much about Barry Pepper, but that could just be him all the time. I mean, I really don't know.
Like he was already down there when they started filming, and they're like, "Oh,"
and they're like, "This might work."
We're
actually
doing like a film down here. Do you want
to be in it?
And they're like, "Oh my God, your leg! Like, do you need help?" And you're like,
"I gotta fix the pipe." Like they did all. They've added all the father stuff in post because they just happened to. The original script was her just going to their old house to get the dog, but then when they started filming, they found Barry Pepper in the basement. They're like, "Wait, this could be good. Let's roll. Let's see what happens if he thinks." Man, wow, that just blew my mind a little bit. Anyway, she shows up. There's fucking gators in the basement and whatever. Multiple big gators. Big gators that can be whatever. And then the ticking time bomb is the hurricane's coming and water's coming in. They got to get out of the basement. And whatever.
Chaos ensues.
Chaos inherently does ensue. Yes. So I don't know what did you. I mean, you said you loved it, so I mean, was this everything you wanted it to be?
I loved it. The cellar itself, it's kind of a half-assed basement. Again, if this was like Barry Pepper, because he's like a contractor that's kind of like made to like think like that's his profession or whatever. And if Barry Pepper fixes the pipes as inebriated as he does when he makes the floor plans for a house, you could see where he's just like they're like you sure you don't want to go a little deeper with the basement? He's like, "Oh, fucking it's a hole in the ground, we gotta get done by happy hour." Yeah. So it's like there's not a lot of room. It's like it's made it's very good if you're an alligator to be down there. Not great if you're a human.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And this is, I assume, where the title of the film comes in, Crawl, because there is a lot of crawling in this film, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So then it's kind of a whole thing like, oh man, like we got to get out of the cellar. As we said, the lead character, Haley, her dad, has a really bad leg injury, like open flesh, open wound type thing. So he's not really going anywhere fast.
Yep.
And they are very much in the gator's natural habitat.
Yep.
Which I assume there's at least one or two gators in the cellar of pretty much every house in South Florida. If I'm
we could always
if I'm led to believe, I would say that's probably on average.
Hey Josh, Josh, can you look that up for us?
Yes, yeah. Go ahead and take a look at that because I think that's
just run the numbers.
I think that's close. Again, I'm not positive, but that sounds right to me.
No. We don't need an exact number. Just whatever the numbers say. Okay.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I like this movie. It was fun. It was. The tension was very high because again, like, it turns out you think. The start of the movie, you get down there, and you already kind of know, it's like, okay, there's alligators in this movie. You're thinking, I'm like, okay, probably two, maybe like one big one. It turns out there's like a lot of alligators.
Yeah. a lot of super alligators. They're not normal
Yeah.
size. They're mega alligators.
Right. Hungry
Yeah.
alligators.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
So one thing not to like throw us like way too far off track, but maybe since we're talking about like crawl.
It's gonna happen anyway. Just pretend like we were outside during that hurricane, and this conversation just got picked up, and now we're blown way, way far off course. But go ahead.
Did you? So here's something I was kind of thinking as I was sitting in the theater, and this doesn't really have anything to do with like the plot or whatever.
Big surprise.
But do you think this was like an aptly named film? Crawl? Like, did you like that? I felt like it like a little bit missed the mark. Like,
it was.
It's kind of like it's kind of campy enough to where like I wish like maybe they called it like Croc-Cellar or like Gator Storm. Like, is that too campy?
I mean,
because that would be like
if this
like,
was
yeah,
if
I'm
it was
going to see like fucking Croc-Cellar. Like, that's sick.
I mean,
like, I feel like they put more asses in seats if it's Croc-Cellar. Because, like, crawl is like, if you don't know anything about it, you just be like, oh, I don't know, crawl. Like, who knows?
You know, if this was straight to DVD, then it would definitely be called Croc-Cellar. There's no way it wouldn't be. But, you know,
Croc-Cellar is a sweet title.
You know, I'm not here to argue with you about that.
And like, you have this like moment, like 30 minutes into the movie, and like the dad is like, "Jesus Christ, this is like a fucking Croc-Cellar."
It zooms in. We get a panning shot across the whole basement, and then we get a wide zoom, just like Jaws, right into Barry Pepper's face, and he goes, We're in a goddamn Croc-Cellar.
Yeah, or maybe even better, like he's up against the wall or something, and he like turns around and he like brushes some dust off the bricks, and he like reads. He's like, "Oh my god, it reads Croc-Cellar." He's like, "Shit."
Why would they write it?
Like, it's like he's been set up. You know, like that's like what it's made for. It's like,
who wrote that on the walls? Did the Gators write that?
He's like, oh my god, we're in a Croc-Cellar.
How have I never read that? In all the years I've been living here,
Yeah,
never noticed.
Yeah, he's like, or he knows it as like that's like an actual thing in the world. He's like, Jesus Christ, this is a Croc-Cellar.
I've only heard legends of the horrible Croc-Cellar, and now we're in one.
Yeah.
Like, no, then we'd have to open the movie with an old book opening, and then it just shows like an old painting of people trapped in like in a basement
people
with
being
Crocs.
thrown into the Croc-Cellar.
Croc-Cellar.
Yeah.
In ancient times as like a sacrifice.
Yeah.
As the storybook passes.
And it's like every 90 years the Crocs come to feed at the Croc-Cellar.
90 years. They come out and this happens in this very spot.
That's unequivocally a better movie. Like right there. 100%. You got me. You're like, I'm all in on that.
I mean, I would have probably enjoyed it a lot more if that were the case. I mean, but then like we'd have to have the moment where she comes back to the house and like she's looking for him, and she pulls something off a bookshelf, and this dusty old book from the top shelf falls and hits her in the head. And she's like, and then it just happens to open to that Croc-Cellar page.
And there's like a map of South Florida, and there's like dots all over. She's like, oh my god.
And then she's like, wait, that's the street we live on.
Yeah, there's how many Croc-Cellars are there? And then you have a Croc-Cellar.
Yeah,
universe.
and then we got a franchise.
This is what I'm here for.
We have to make that. I mean,
the expanded universe, man. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I mean, we got 2 tickets sold right here, front seat,
Yes.
opening night.
Yes.
And, I bet Barry Pepper would sign up for that because I don't really think he's doing a lot nowadays anyway.
Agreed. Especially
might as well.
if that leg injury is as serious as it looked. He might not be doing much.
I mean, we might have to
work
go.
That isn't in a cellar.
So we
that
might have
actually be his forte now because
only
ladders and stairs.
It's gonna be an issue.
Really, anything else on like the main floor up is gonna be really difficult.
It's gonna be a problem. So really, I mean, that works out better for us because then we just have to go to him.
Yeah.
Like we'll just shoot in that same house. We'll just use the same basement, and then like he'll be like, "Oh, here we go again."
Yeah.
For every movie.
It was. Oh man.
We could do like. Wait. We could do like a Christmas one, a Christmas croc basement. And, like the alligators are wearing Santa hats, and for some reason it snows in Florida, and all the swamp freezes up, and they're like using their claws to ice skate around, and then he can't, and then he's like frozen like Jack Torrance in the basement, and then like they're skating towards him. Man, a very a very crocky Christmas basement.
No, keep going.
We just got. I mean, there's so many of these. We can do one for every major holiday, really, every year. And just, I mean, it really, there's no end to where this could go.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, like, by the end of this movie, and everyone, I mean, there's only 2 people in the movie, really, but for the most part, like, the 2 main characters are, like, really resistant. And if there was, like, anyone ever to fight a bunch of alligators, it seems like they're pretty well equipped, because, like, Barry Pepper towards the end of this starts looking like Luke Wilson at the end of Anchorman, where you're like, God dang it, this is getting goddamn ridiculous. Like,
yeah, he is pretty much like Bruce Campbell in Evil Dead, where he just keeps getting up. He just can't kill him.
He's a little more drunker.
Yeah, I mean, clearly he's not on the same level. You know what? Yeah. If we do a Croc-Cellar franchise, we got to get Bruce Campbell in there at some point, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I mean,
David Arquette would be great too.
David Arquette, perfect.
I felt
Why
like
not?
the poor guy who like knew Haley in the movie. He's like, no, stop, don't go any farther.
Yeah, that is definitely a David Arquette role. You're 100% right on that.
He was doing his best David Arquette.
He really was.
I felt bad because I felt like the instant he came on screen, I knew his fate. I'm like, oh, this guy's getting eaten by an alligator. Like,
yeah.
It's just a matter of time. But yeah. So tell me, how? I was wondering. I had something else here for you.
Okay.
Did this? So I enjoyed this film. I especially enjoyed these films during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Did this do well? Is it something that a lot of people saw?
Well,
is there any chance for our Croc-Cellar universe to really take flight here? Or
let me check the numbers on that. But while I do, I'll say for me personally, it did not do very well. So you didn't like this movie? I didn't really like this movie. No. Oh, I thought you liked it. I guess, I don't know, how far are we in? Yeah, I didn't even really ask it. Hey, Luke, did you like this movie? That'll be Back it up. That'll be our clean in. Do you want to do that one more time? Yeah. We'll just stop. Ready? Right. Ready, go. So, Luke, let me ask your opinion. Yes? What did you enjoy this film? Well, hey, thanks for asking, old legs. No. I mean, it's, whatever place in your heart you have for these movies, I just don't really think I have it. And it just, I get it. It's got its one note to play, and I did not like the lead actress. She was
Really?
she was very. It took me out of it. Just literally, I don't know. I'm being a little nitpicky here, but just the way she moved her mouth really bothered me. And I don't. That's never happened to me before. But I was just like, the way that she's mouthing words really, really bothered me. So
interesting.
And I just didn't. And I just was like, I don't buy it. I don't buy this whole daddy daughter like thing. And like, I don't know. I was like, man, whatever. I don't really care. And then I just thought the Croc stuff was stupid. And it was just like, oh, well, they're what, like Michael Myers now? Like they're just gonna silently creep up behind you and then jump out of nowhere and just randomly pick them off one by one instead of just like whatever. I don't know. It just and then what would have made it better for me is if the dog died and the dad died and she was saved. That would have made it better for me, because then it was like, well, then there were like real stakes. But I mean, honestly, like there wasn't a whole lot resolved with their relationship, other than they were like, oh, well, we're both just like stubborn and whatever, but we made it out, so who cares? You know, it was like, if they would have, I don't know, it seems like, I mean, not like it's easy to do, whatever, but it just, if they would have like spent more time with them not getting along right away, and then like having to use these gators to come together more, instead of her just being like, oh, you're annoying, but whatever, I guess I'm over it now instantly, you know. If they kind of would have played that character development a little bit more, I probably would have enjoyed it. And then like, yeah, like I said, like he goes through hell and still just there's pretty much nothing, and then they get rescued at the end. It was like, oh, okay. It just, you know, it was fine. I mean, it like I said, it had the one note to play, and it played it. And if that note works for you, great. But it didn't do that much for me. Now, as far as America's concerned, this movie has already almost, with the worldwide pull-in, has doubled its budget. So its production budget was
expanded universe coming.
It was $13.5 million budget. The domestic pull was almost 25, and then the worldwide pull was about 35. So it did fine, and it's gonna do fine. It's a summer movie, so will there be a Crawl 2? Maybe. I don't really know. You know, I heard this rumor, and I don't know if it's true, but I'd like to throw it at you. Somebody told me this was based on a true story. I was like, is it?
Yes.
Is it based on a true story?
Yes. I'm conferring with my sources, and yes, it's 100% true.
Okay.
This is like all of those like Florida Man stories, like wrapped into one kind of.
So it was like Fargo. Like they just combined a bunch of little stories.
Where there's like the burnout dudes trying to steal the ATM. Like that's 100% Florida. Like, oh yeah, it's completely believable. Yeah, that's interesting. So how would you have fixed this movie? Would you rather like, they learn to like coexist with the gay? Like she like towards like the end of the movie, she's doing like the raptor thing where she's like coming up with her hand, like she's like speaking alligator, like no, this is she like names one, and it's like no, and they like ride an alligator out or something like that. Would that be cool?
That would have been cool, yeah, Aquaman style. Or, you know, I mean, look at like The Gray, for instance, right? I mean, it was billed as Liam Neeson versus wolves.
You just wanted bloodshed. You want like everyone to die.
Yeah, exactly. I want there to be real stakes.
You wanted.
I wanted
her to not be able to pull up the floorboards.
Yeah.
And just have her dad just drown a terrible death.
Right. I wanted someone to die that had more than 10 seconds of screen time. Is that so much to ask? I don't want a bunch of these meaningless deaths. Give me some real stakes here.
All right. Well, I mean, plenty of alligators died in the filming of this, so hope you feel better about yourself.
You know, I do. They're awful. No. And like it was just so predictable. Like when we were watching this, the person I went with was like, she was like, when she's swimming out in the sewer, she was like, I bet they're in a nest right now. And literally right that second, she picks up the egg. And I was like, yeah, that was pretty predictable. And it was
radioactive eggs too.
That's what it was. That's why they were glowing green.
Made the gators extremely aggressive and violent towards humans.
See, that version would have been in the storybook at the beginning of our story.
Like, you know what? We're done. We're done with fish. I'm over fish. Like, bury the alligators. Like, bro, like I'm really sick of eating trout, man. Like, we should like try and diversify out and see what happens. And I'm on this like Homo sapien diet. It's really doing wonders for me. I'm like 20 feet long, dude. Check this out.
If that conversation happened, I would have been more interested. Yeah, I probably would have liked it more.
Yeah. Yeah, huh? That's Crawl, pretty much.
That's it. I mean, if you want, I mean, if you saw the trailer for this and thought, hey, I want to see that, it'll give you exactly it checked off all the boxes it promised.
I feel like this was more fun than, say, like Godzilla, which I kind of pegged as maybe our summer movie, like our fun summer movie. Have we had that yet?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Obviously, we have the end all be all coming up here in about a week, Hobbs and Shaw, which is I wouldn't.
We're not gonna.
I wouldn't put it past The Rock to fight some alligators in Hobbs and Shaw, but I mean, we'll see.
We're not gonna
maybe
spend
him
any more
teaming
time.
up with Roman Reigns, or maybe The Rock, like maybe he allows the Crocs to bite his arms, both of them, and then he fights some bad guys with Crocs, just like
like using Crocs as brass knuckles, basically.
Yeah. Like that's what
I'd be into.
That's
that.
what I want on my summer movie.
Well, I mean,
give me that.
Honestly, I would not be surprised in the least if that happened in Hobbs and Shaw.
But it's also like a funny thing too, and Jason Statham like looks over at The Rock. He's like just mowing over bad guys with his croc arms, and he's like, oh, I gotta like one up him, like what kind of, and he dives into the ocean and he gets some like sharks to bite his arms and jumps out. He's like, ha, see, one up you. It's a fun buddy cop trope, right? No?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of lost me there. One thing about this movie that I did kind of connect with was sometimes doing this podcast, I feel like I'm trapped in a flooding basement, and every time I try to swim out to make a good point,
I'm
Old
hurricane.
Legs is the hurricane, and also all of the alligators attacking my good points and making me fly away. So
I'm just relentless.
So, I mean, that part did kind of connect with me. It was like, that does happen to me sometimes, But I don't know. I mean, if out there, loyal listeners, I mean, if this movie looked like you're like, you know what, that's my cup of tea. That's what I want to see out of a summer movie. I think this gives it to you.
I'm with you. Yeah. So Old Legs is in on Crawl.
Yeah.
Luke is out on Crawl.
Yeah.
Both of us are in on Croc-Cellar.
Croc-Cellar. I mean, that's money in the bank, guys. I mean, pencil it in. That is a money-making franchise. There's no doubt about it.
I have to agree.
And we got to get...
What else we got?
Well, we got to get, again, campaigning. We got to get Warwick Davis on the show. I'm not giving up on that. Loyal listeners, let's start a social media movement. Don't let Warwick Davis just enjoy his life. Tweet him every minute of every day until he comes on our show.
He should be waking up in the morning and he picks up his phone, he opens up Twitter, he's like, man, all these L Squared podcast mentions. Like, what is this?
Where am I?
come on the show, enlighten us.
Please. If you come on the show, we will stop tweeting at you. We promise.
Yes.
You know.
So, yeah. So, super excited for that. I'm super excited to see kind of what else the hurricane of summer films brings for us. Obviously, the aforementioned Hobbs and Shaw is coming up. We have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Boom, 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 boom.
It's gonna be really fun, I think. We got a bunch of movie announcements. I can't believe it. I might have to watch. I don't know when or if or how it's going to happen, but a Blade movie with Mahershala Ali was announced. And
can I just set the table a little bit for that? So, as loyal listeners know, Old Legs has been on a campaign against superhero movies basically since the MCU became a thing. I mean, basically since like the Avengers came out and it was like, this is your new movie industry. Old Legs said, "Fuck that," basically from day one. He's been out, and he's been actively hoping, praying for the downfall of superhero movies since then. I mean, that's probably fair.
Right. Thanos did a pretty good job, as I've been told.
He tried his
best. Seen the movie, but he managed to take out half of the Marvel universe, and I think I haven't seen any. The script hasn't come over my desk yet, but I would assume that Kevin Feige, is it Feige?
Feige, yeah.
Feige. We haven't spoken yet, but I think his plan for the death of the rest of the Marvel universe is going to be in the form of the Daywalker himself, Blade. Blade is going to kill everyone.
So,
and I can't wait. I'm actually really nervous because there's not I think Marvel would be like the last studio that I would entrust to give me a quality Blade movie. Again, I don't understand like IP or anything. I'm sure that they own it, so they can do whatever they want with it. But
so I mean, the point being that when Old Legs brought this to my attention, saying I might have to see this movie, that's not something that Old Legs typically says about a superhero movie. So, my first reaction was, is Mahershala Ali going to get an Oscar nomination? Now, I would think the Academy has already penciled him in as a nomination. But, I mean, I don't know. But are we going to see him... Are we going to see Wesley Snipes host the Oscars in full Blade costume and then give an Oscar to Mahershala Ali also in full Blade costume on live television?
This would truly be like the ultimate flex if he's able to pull off an Oscar nom with vampire teeth and a katana.
Did you see his tweet from, was it today or yesterday? Wesley Snipes tweet. Sure. Wesley Snipes tweeted. He retweeted the announcement of, or no, he was referring to the announcement, but he tweeted out the clip of him, and he just said, "Man, motherfuckers always trying to ice skate uphill," and he tweeted that video for him saying that about Marvel remaking Blade.
Yes.
I was like, man, what? That's the most Wesley Snipes thing he could do.
Give the man his due.
He doesn't pay taxes. Sorry.
Okay, right. So maybe he should be giving his due to the United States.
That's what I'm saying.
So we can have Wesley Snipes in our life.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I hold him and nearly all of his projects very dear to my heart.
That is true. Yeah, especially Expendables 3, right?
Gotta love it. Yeah, I guess I'll say, I don't think, from what I've heard, what I might have read, is essentially like there's no plot, there's no real anything for this movie. It was a thing where
it was Mahershala or bust.
Walked into the room and was like,
really?
I want to do Blade.
No
and
shit.
They're like, well, and they're like instantly in their phone. They're like, can we do this? Can we get Blade? This is what he wants, and so
no way.
That's kind of cool that he's.
Is that really what happened?
That he has. No, yeah, seriously. Like,
damn.
It wasn't like pitched to him. He pitched it to them.
He was like, I want to do Blade, and they were like, how can we make this happen?
You in this? And he's just like, it's Blade or nothing.
Okay.
So
they were like, all right, let's do it.
And that's a flex.
Yeah.
That's a flex that I don't feel like many actors can get to, but obviously at this point he's.
And he was already playing a character in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Because he was in Luke Cage. I mean, I guess it's the Netflix TV show, you know? But he was like Viper, or whatever the fuck that was.
Yes. Yeah, Viper, I forgot.
Or whatever. Yeah, right?
Missed that one.
A devastatingly brilliant performance by Mahershala. But
yeah, but I don't know. It's exciting. I'll be really disappointed. Do you think, can it be rated R?
I think yes.
To be, right?
Yes. I think it has to be. And I
feel like they've broken that barrier with Deadpool.
Deadpool and Logan and then Deadpool 2 all were huge hits. So I think you have to do it. Now, this is interesting because now they've been saying for a while that they wanted to, they being Marvel and whatever, want to make a Morbius movie. So that's a Spider-Man villain who basically turns himself into a vampire, and then Spider-Man actually teams up with Blade to take him down at some point. So, I mean, I don't know if Marvel is this is just they've been talking about this for the past year or so, and this is before, you know, Blade that just got announced. But do you think that Marvel is going to try and shoehorn that in and try and bring those two worlds together?
They are going to shoehorn some stupid ass shit like that in. I without a doubt. That's what makes me worried.
So you're saying that's not even a good bet? Like, it's just going to happen?
100%. Like, Blade 2, or Mahershala Ali's Blade 2 is going to have, like, fucking Rocket Raccoon or something in it, and, like, some really dumb tie-in. And it's probably going to really frustrate me, but it's one of those things where, like, I don't feel like you need to really Marvelify this franchise at all. I feel like you could just kind of let it be. Just let Blade be Blade and have him kill a bunch of vampires. Like, go back and watch Blade 2. That was how many? Almost 15 years ago?
Yeah, it was 2002.
Yeah.
So it was 17 years ago, yeah.
That movie holds up. That movie is great.
And
you don't need a bunch of CGI. You don't need any any freewheeling raccoons running around or tree people.
But you need Chris Christopherson back. Or is that not where you're going? Oh.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I mean, that goes without saying. He's got to come back.
I'm just saying, I hope that they do it and that it's not distracting how they look to tie this into. Well, he's got to team up with Spider-Man to beat the Morbius, and you know.
Yeah, and I really hope that they don't try to make it Wesley Snipes Blade. Like, I hope they don't try and, like, Mahershala isn't, like, doing a Wesley Snipes impression, because Blade, the first one and the second one are both really good. I really like both of them. But you know, it was definitely, like, a great project for Wesley Snipes because he had all that charisma that he could bring to it, and Blade was Wesley Snipes. Like he really brought a lot to that character. So I mean, he obviously made it his own. So it's gonna be interesting what they do with it. Now I'm always a sucker for vampire movies. What I was gonna say, so I'd be very interested if they like kind of like I even like low key like Van Helsing, which I don't care. I don't really like to admit, but I mean, if they stick to sort of a, I don't know, there's a way you could do it. There's a way you could have it be modern and, you know, keep it cool and slick like the first, you know, like the first franchise was, but then also like have good vampire lore, which I'm always a huge fan of.
Right.
But, you know, I think if you're going to do this, which this is going to be hard for Marvel to hear, just don't paint by numbers, please. Like be different.
I agree.
The best Marvel is the best when they take chances and they do different stuff. That's like the reason why I didn't love Black Panther. I was so excited for it, and I was like, this is going to be the next great like different movie, and it's going to be so different from all the other ones, and it just felt like the same to me basically. And I was like, that was a great opportunity to show us different things and to try new things. And yeah, it just didn't quite, you know, do it for me. But with this, it's like, be different, be rated R, be cool, you know, like don't just do the same goddamn origin story over and over again. I'm really sick of it, and just make it a good movie. Just make it cool, take chances, be weird, be off the wall. Like that's really what I want out of this. Is that going to happen?
Yeah.
You know, probably not. Now, they don't like have a director attached to this or anything, do they? It's just Mahershala at this point, right?
Yeah, it's honestly like I don't think
it's
even
basically
have
just
a
like
plan.
it's just they said, hey, we signed Mahershala to do a Blade movie, and that's it.
Right. And that's probably enough. That's really all that we need right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree. I hope it's different. I think like again, this is like a chance for Marvel to do like the floor for this should be like
pretty
some
high, yeah.
mix of Devilman Crybaby and John Wick. That it should be like it should be a mix of like that should be the standard that they shoot for, right? Like,
yeah,
something along those lines. Where it's like
dude.
if Marvel can make like John Wick and have it be Mahershala Ali and he's a vampire hunter, like that would be sick.
Definitely.
And yeah, and then you can do the fan servicey stuff where he's in the nightclub and it starts raining blood. Like that would be awesome. Like
if you're gonna bring one thing back, bring that scene back, redo that scene. I'm all in.
You gotta.
Just like if we could leave one thing in the past, just can we leave like the magic sunscreen thing that they did in the first movie? Man, I hated that. I really hated that. But whatever.
Well,
but yeah. So, well, I mean, I think it's about time to crawl out of here. I think we made it out of the basement. I think the winds are dying down a little bit. I think
they're dying down.
I think I hear that outro playing. So
I think I'm gonna go for it.
You're gonna go.
I'm going for the
light the flare.
I'm going for the storm cellar.
Yeah, do it. Get down there. So hit me up on Twitter at Luke Larson89. You can find this podcast at L2 Podcast on Facebook, L Squared Podcast on Twitter, L Squared Podcast on Instagram. You can hit us up, hit Warwick Davis up to come on the show. Hit up our Patreon. We're going to be adding a new category this month, and this is going to be for now.
This is big news.
Big news. This is going to be for our Croc-Cellar franchise. Now we're going to try it as a Kickstarter, just so when we go to the studios, we can say, hey, we have this much money behind it already. So I mean, crawl at a budget of what, $13.5. I'm hoping for a budget of more like 130 mil. I think that's what we would really need to complete the whole vision that we just thought of. So yes, I mean,
we want a Guy Ritchie size budget.
Yeah, right.
For this,
and maybe Guy Ritchie can be a consultant on it. I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I mean, so we're thinking, we're gonna kind of put it as a tier. So I mean, if you can do 130 mil a month, we'll take it.
Perfect.
If you can do 100 mil a month, we'll take it.
I mean, that's fine. That's fine. It's not.
I mean, we appreciate it.
It's not great. We'll take it.
But we'll take it. So and then like
this isn't a Ponzi scheme at all. Like
right.
You'll get your movie.
You'll see it. You'll see the movie. And then, if you really just like, I'm on a budget, I want to support this, I really believe in your guys' vision, but I just can't really commit to that much. Bottom tier, we're doing $85 million a month. And that's just kind of that's just you throwing us a bone. Like, hey, I'm sorry I can't do more, but like, I believe in you guys. And so like, we'll take it. We're not going to say, oh, fuck you, it hurts but we get it. So we're doing 85, then 100, then 130.
And who knows? If we can get the funding, then I think we can get in the room and be
no
hey,
doubt.
Kevin Feige, let's
Feige,
pencil us in for stage 5.
Yep.
Okay?
It'd be
There's
phase
a stage
5
hurricane coming.
There we go.
And everyone better be ready.
Yep. We're gonna.
Spider-Man better learn how to swim.
Yeah, that's right. I think we got a winner. So please do what you can. Maybe skip lunch 1 or 2 times a week now, and just kind of put that towards the monthly Patreon, payments to us. But thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
Peace.